What's up, folks? Khalid Bay. New York Proposition number one, or proposal number one. What it's about, what's its implications. I'm doing a two-part discussion on this. The first part, I'll present a case. And then in part two, I have my good brother, Rashamed Ali El, give another take. Not contradicting takes, but takes for you to give consideration to this particular proposal. All right, but let's get to the first episode with no further ado. Let's talk. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Let's Talk. My name is Khalid Bey. Let's Talk is my new podcast show where I will be discussing socio-political and economic issues in an effort to keep you in the know about what's going on in your local as well as your broader environment. Today is Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. And on this inaugural episode, we will be discussing New York State Proposition or Proposal number one. But before we get to that, I need you to like and subscribe so that I can keep you alert to when new content is put up on the channel. So to start with, I want to read to you the text proposal, if you will, of this proposed amendment. And it reads as follows. Section 1, resolved, if the Assembly concur, that Section 11 of Article 1 of the Constitution be amended to read as follows. Section 11A. No person shall be denied the equal protection of the laws of this state or any subdivision thereof. No person shall, because of race, color, ethnicity, national origin, age, disability, creed, or religion, or sex, including sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, pregnancy outcomes, and reproductive health care and autonomy, be subjected to any discrimination in his, her, or their civil rights by any person or any firm, corporation, or institution, or by the state or any agency or subdivision of the state pursuant to law. Section 11B continues. Nothing in this section shall invalidate or prevent the adoption of any law, regulation, program, or practice that is designed to prevent or dismantle discrimination on the basis of a characteristic listed in this section, nor shall any characteristic listed in this section be interpreted to interfere with, limit, or deny the civil rights of any person based upon any of the characteristics identified in this section. So, one of the purposes of this amendment is to add to existing discrimination laws to include protections of people from the LGBTQ community. The focus on this episode, though, is on this amendment's effort to protect women's reproductive rights. We are all aware of the discussion that's been going on the news and otherwise about efforts on the part of some to make abortion illegal, to put a national ban on abortions that would ultimately make it a criminal act and subject the doctors and the women who are reportedly guilty of these acts to criminal prosecution. So here's a question. Should government dictate how a woman or any other person would make decisions about their health or similar private matters? Please give your response in the comment section below. What's interesting about this discussion, when I think about what is normally an argument on the part of the right or the Republican conservatives, there's always an effort to ensure that government does not become too big, too meddlesome. They want to shrink government and deregulate its operations in an effort to ensure that certain freedoms remain in place for the individual. A big part of that, of course, is the decisions that individuals make in regards to their life, their business, how their business operates, so on and so forth. So it appears quite contradictory that they would then turn around and ask for a national ban on abortion. And I don't believe there's an area of your life or there's an area that could be deemed more invasive than government telling a person or persons how they can make decisions about their private health matters. When we hear about the arguments of why this particular effort is necessary, we hear about statements violation of life. We hear about violation of religious principle. But we live in a country where multiple states have a death penalty. Of course, this is an obvious contradiction, but there are other contradictions to consider. Oftentimes, the US makes criticism of other countries who exercise too much austerity, who are too strict and too meddlesome in the lives of their citizens and violate the rights of their citizens willfully. We talk about nations where women are treated differently and where even criminals, or people who would be deemed criminals in other nations may receive very, very harsh punishments that would not be legally allowed here in the US. We think about many other matters in which government inflicts pain or punishment on its citizens or invade their privacy, and we call them dictators. We talk about the right to decision. We talk about certain freedoms that we promote to other countries to suggest that the US is above these types of meddlesome dictating behaviors. Yet we then turn around and say, hey, we can't let women make any decision about their health. This we can't have. And so obviously it appears a bit hypocritical, right? How could you comment and criticize and even wage war on other countries regarding their reported austere measures they implement on their people, but then turn around and somehow be oblivious to the fact that your suggestions or that the suggestions that women would not have the right to defend their privacy is the same type of dictator behavior that America speaks against. I think some things that may have to be considered is that everybody's circumstance is not the same, right? The reasons for why some women may choose to abort a pregnancy is probably very personal. Some of them are probably very practical. Oftentimes, people may terminate a pregnancy because they don't have the means to provide for a kid or more kids. Interesting, too, to see that there's pushback relative to that when there's often from the right concerns about the damage that the welfare state does on society. But who's going to provide for kids who parents can't take care of? When you take away the right of women to make their decisions, many of whom will probably make them for those reasons. Not saying all of them will, but some of them will. How do you deal with that contradiction? The need to eliminate Social Security, welfare, and other government subsidies in the name of self efficacy, but in turn obligate persons who might not be capable, financially or otherwise, to care for kids, while simultaneously trying to dismantle the programs that would support said kids. It's very interesting dynamics, quite the conundrum. What's very important here is that people are aware when you invade health privacies, what else will you invade? I think these are the things that people have to talk about. The very character of America is the fact that free choice exists, not free choice with restriction. And so we have to give that serious consideration to make sure that we educate people about what we need to do, what we need to be aware of, what actions to take to ensure that your rights and your privileges are protected. A person never knows by being told. So you should do your own research so that you can understand, and more importantly, so that you can share with somebody else. And if you have young girls that are turning 18, you need to make sure you educate them and help them to understand what it means. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let's keep the discussion going. Let's get people in the discussion who are unaware of what's going on. And let's make sure that people are empowered with knowledge and information. So I'd like to thank you again for coming by. This was Let's Talk. Khalid Bey. Catch you on the next one.